Shout out Breadwinners Association and know that Allah is the Almighty. I'm your host, the Urban Guru, coming through. Y'all know what I like to do. I like to connect planetary patterns with human events, human affairs. So we all know that today, Kevin Gates was sentenced to 6 months jail time, quick time, no time. They say he will be confined for 6 months. Let that be fact number one, because we got to get into some facts, all right? So confinement with time. Fact number two, he's 30 years old. Now, those of us who strive to understand the place that we live in called the solar system, we know that 30 years is the same amount of time that it takes for the planet Saturn to make one full circle around the sun. Facts. So fact number three, it takes Saturn 30 years to complete a circle around the sun. This is a fact. So fact number four is something called the Saturn return. I didn't write it. I wish I did. It's pretty cool. But it's something that's been recorded for eons, and it actually talks about the amount of time for Saturn to return, which is 29.5 years, right? 30 years on average. But it also talks about the energy of Saturn. See, we done already talked about the orbital time of Saturn. Let's now talk about the energetic properties of Saturn. So let's look to the far right, because this is something that's been recorded for eons of times. It says that Saturn represents justice, and it also represents time. And it also, on the left-hand side in the column that starts with coldness, it represents confinement. So Justice Department could be a judge or a courtroom where they say they administer justice, and they gave him time as a punishment within confinement that we said at point number one. So now this brings us to another point. Point number five, these energies, Saturn cycle, and the physical events of Kevin Gates, his life, his trial, correspond to one another. Is that a coincidence? Yes, it is. Two things coincide mathematically. This is a coincidence. Two things are coinciding. This is the science, all right? So let's look at when Kevin Gates was born, February 5th, 1986. You see Saturn in the sky was right by the Scorpion. You see it. Let's speed it up 30 years to right now. You see the date. Where's Saturn? Same place, same position, giving off the same type of energy. Therefore, what? We see a physical event that corresponds with the celestial energy. Now, these energies, because there are tons of them, could have been discipline, hard work, responsibility, effort. Kevin Gates could have easily said, you know what, I'm going to run from this crazy fan that seems to be attacking me. I'm just going to run. That's a decision that could have been made. Thus, a different outcome, all right? See, with this particular science, since we know that this operates on a 30-year interval, just one of its cycles, then that means we can double that, go 60 years in the future. We can triple that. We can go to any point in the future that you want to mathematically and be able to tell you the likely situations that is going to occur in our lives. So shout out to Breadwinners. It's all divine. And I'm going to give my personal testament on a later date with Breadwinners. So big shout out to Breadwinners. Hip Hop Astrology.
Prophecy is what we all have to go by now.